2026. I want to welcome everyone back. As you can see, we're in the commission room again. No more Zoom meetings for at least the time being. At this time, we'll take roll.
Mayor Bauer,
Here.
Commissioner Maxon,
Here.
Commissioner York, Vice Mayor Doan,
Here.
Commissioner Van Oster.
This time we'll move into the invocation. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm assuming Mark is going to do the invocation. All right.
Father, thank you for letting us gather together tonight to do the city's business. It's in your name that we ask for guidance to best serve the citizens of Coffeyville, and let us go forward and do your good work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mark. Moving to the consent agenda, the City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, May 12th, special commission meeting minutes for Thursday, May 14th, special commission meeting minutes for Friday, May 22nd, and 2020 appropriation ordinance number AO-20-10 in the amount of $3,477,240.51. Questions, comments, or amendments to these first four items on the consent agenda?
I just have a few comments on our appropriation ordinance, which of course is the accounts payable. It's one of the large ones. Of that, $3,200,000 goes to Grand River Dam Authority for the purchase of power. We also had an invoice on there to Miracle Recreation Equipment for $18,411. If you will remember, CVR very graciously donated to our parks fund in lieu of using the original old Walmart location to store some things during turnaround. And so that equipment's been ordered, and it is to go to North Park. So pretty soon, I'm sure as time and weather allows, they will begin going out there and getting that set up. Also, every other meeting, we are also given a bill from Republic Services for our trash, and that's not only for the trash that is picked up residentially, but it is for the containers that are at our locations, meaning the city's locations also, the parks, etc. And that is about $35,000, and usually that's about the same every other time. Southwest Power Pool is $521,000, and that is the transmission service for the Grand River Dam Authority power. We also had this time $5,000 to Standard & Poor. That's for our annual review for our rating service. And along with some other things, there's a lot of purchases of plexiglass and things for the COVID-19, and those are categorized different, as hoped to be able to be reimbursed at a later time for some of that through whatever programs we work out. And the payroll this time is $358,459. So that sums up pretty well most of it.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I will move to approve items 1 through 4 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve items 1 through 4 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Maxon.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye. 2020 appropriation ordinance number AO-20-10A for Isham's Hardware, $283.06, in the amount of $283.06. Questions or comments regarding this item?
If there are no comments, I'll move to approve item 5 of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Commissioner Maxon to approve item 5 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner York.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Abstain.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Maxon.
Thank you. Moving into comments from the public. The public is free to comment on items not listed on the agenda. Please address comments to the commission as a body and be mindful of others who may also wish to speak by limiting your comments to 3 minutes. Looks like we have a pretty big group for tonight, so come right on up. No, you can come right up to the podium so everyone can hear. We need you to state your name and your address.
My name is Mike Allen. I live at 807 North Lee Street here at Poplar campus.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go right ahead. Sorry.
The condition we have on Lee Street where we live, the road is gravel.
Mhm.
We were looking to see if we could request having that paved. I know the city has been out several times to repair and fix the gravel road. Just recently, as a matter of fact, and it was pretty bad in one spot, some pretty big holes. They did get that filled and fixed very well. Sorry about that.
Oh, talk perfectly fine.
But with gravel roads, they continue to need repair, and it's a continuous thing, which I know is also more money the city has to put in. So we're looking at requesting possibly the pavement of that road.
And Lee Street would be the street that it runs just to the east side of the tennis courts, correct? Along that chain link fence?
Yes.
Yes.
It's what, about a 2-block street?
Yeah, it's not
Probably
real
somewhere
long.
in that
It's not
neighborhood, I
very
would
long
say.
at all. And the other people that are here are also residents of Lee Street.
It looked familiar. So right now, I don't know that we can give you a definitive answer on it, but it is definitely something that we will talk to the city group about, and we'll see what the, where we're at as far as budgets go. I don't know that it's in the budget for this year, but
Sure.
we'll look and see if we could figure something out, and we
Great.
will definitely get back with you
Okay.
and provide you an update as much as anything.
Right. Thank you very
Could
much.
could you give Melissa your phone number? Or if you want to get phone numbers from everyone, we can, once a decision is
Okay.
made, we can give everyone a phone call, or we can
Yeah,
send
sure.
you something out in the mail. I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously, if you're all from on Lee Street, we can, we could send
It's
one
2
little
blocks.
mailer.
We can mark
Right,
it.
we could probably figure it out pretty easy, right? So, we have city employees that come around, so.
Of course, step one, and that would, I mean, the engineers would have to go out and figure out what,
Yeah.
get all the
Correct.
costs calculated and all that.
Right,
And,
right.
I mean, it's-
Yeah, because it's going to be a little more than just putting asphalt down on top.
It
Yes,
is a little
it
bit
is,
of a lengthy
quite a bit
process,
more than
yeah.
that,
Right,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fair question. I know that it's been a new development that's been out there. I say new, it's not really a new development anymore. It's been
Right.
out there for quite some time, so.
Right,
I believe it would be fair to look at it.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. I appreciate you guys giving me a few minutes of your time. Standing in front of you this evening to request permission to provide a service to the city of Coffeyville, mainly focused on EMS personnel, emergency services personnel. In Section 36-208 of Coffeyville City Ordinance, Coffeyville has an ordinance that states, "All buildings facing streets now or hereafter erected or relocated shall be numbered as herein provided by the owner or occupant at his own expense. All such numbers or letters shall be such kind of materials as shall be approved by the city engineering department. All such numbers shall be placed on the front of the building door or post so as to be easily seen from the street." The reason why I'm bringing that to your attention is because, as most of you do know, it's very difficult for emergency services to find very many addresses throughout the city. I've spoke with the chief of the fire department, as well as the Lieutenant Michael Connor, as well as multiple entities that work in emergency services, all of which have stated that there's definitely a need to provide a service to where properly marked curbs that can provide addresses quickly to our EMS personnel. My request to the city is to team up with this city to provide that service. My job would be to go out and to physically mark each home, the location of that. If a resident does not have a curb, place that in a position to where it'd be very easy for emergency services personnel to actually be able to see that. Most of you, Mr. Doan, I know that you worked EMS for a number of years. And so my hope is that you guys will allow me to either bid on that or to perhaps work with me to get that service done.
So I know that most of this is an interaction with when we do the 3 minutes, but I think, so first of all, I think it's definitely something that we need, okay? But I have talked to Commissioner Doan about it. I think you had reached out to him at one time.
Yes, sir.
And I'm absolutely think that it's a great idea. I mean, I do. There's many cities around Kansas, and just you drive around and most cities have that implemented to some degree on the size, how big the lettering is, and there's some very fine details in it, as much as marking can be.
Yes, sir.
But, it comes down to, if it's going to be city controlled and city run, and the city is going to charge the individual a price, then it would have to go through the bidding process, right? I mean, that we'd have to go out and get 3 quotes from obviously 2 of your competitors, and you would be more than welcome to bid on it, I'm sure. I don't know the exact process for the city as far as, I know where I work, you have to be a certain supplier to be able to do those kind of things. I don't know how that works with the city
Yes, sir.
as far as the details of that, but I definitely think that's something that should be entertained and talked about, and again, I would be welcome for anyone else to voice some of their opinions or concerns.
Tell me, so I've been driving around since we had our initial conversation.
Yes, sir.
There is a lot of homes that don't have curbs.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit more about, you said you would put it in a spot that could be viewed, so.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
For about 2 years, I've done this on my own, just with residents throughout the community who have asked me via Facebook and such to come out and provide this. There's a lot of homes that don't have a curb to where I use a 4-inch stencil to where it's very visible. So what I have done is mark that on the driveway right next to the curb, and I actually brought a picture for you guys to actually show you. But this is one that I did, but the curb is too small for that. So I put it strategically right in visibility. If there was a police officer, emergency services, as they're driving by, they can clearly see that number. It's very visible for them. And like I said before, the biggest issue for me is the reason why I do this is I have a lot of emergency services friends, and I understand. I've been in emergency services myself. I gave almost 1,000 hours to Montgomery County Sheriff's Office for free as a reserve for them. I also worked for Seneca, Missouri Police Department, as well as Commerce, Oklahoma Police Department. So I'm very well aware how difficult it is. And the state of Kansas average response time statewide is 22 minutes. Nationwide, it's 15 minutes. If they're properly marked, how much is an emergency worth?
All right.
And that's what it boils down to for me. So,
Chuck, do you know if the state has guidelines on that as far as height, width, font, all that? Yeah.
It's in the city ordinance.
Right.
I believe it states it's the responsibility of the homeowner.
Right.
yes,
Now, whether the city wanted to go ahead and do that
Right.
is another question.
Right.
Because the commission could obviously do that if they wanted.
Right. Well, it would still fall back, I mean, so my thinking was it would still fall back on the homeowner, right? I mean, we would take the initial cost, but then it would go back on an electric bill or, some utility bill as a service that's it's a one-time service provided. And this is, I'm sure we have something on there that,
Coffeyville has a lot of cities, so it's on every corner on the street signs.
There's
we have
numbers.
100 on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that gets you within a block, and then it's just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Yeah.
On the other side, 105.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
And we're talking a lot about homeowners, but I drove down 11th Street, and there's a lot of businesses that don't have numbers
Yes,
as
sir.
well.
Right.
So
yes, sir.
that's, I was surprised, I hate to admit, I was in an ambulance for several years, but I didn't look at businesses since then. And I drove down, I was looking, I'm like, holy moly,
Yes, sir.
it's,
Well, our current fire chief is from the state of Florida.
Right.
And so for a guy that's not very familiar with our community, it'd be very nice to be able to provide him a way around town to actually where he could learn it
Yeah, and
very quickly.
And it's one of those things, because, I used to vacation down there quite a bit, and that is something that is marked on every house. And they, to your point, they do have their street signs marked very similar to ours, But they also have it, it's mandated by the homeowner that it's on their front. It's right by their, I think it's like with so many feet from their mailbox that they got it, that they have to have it, so.
Actually, our ordinance says be read.
Yeah,
also says
yeah,
Yes.
their responsibility to do.
right, right. And obviously, it's things that have went to the side,
Yep.
and we haven't, so, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? All right.
It was the Lee Street crowd.
It was a Lee Street crowd is what it was. Well, thank you all for coming out.
Yes.
We will definitely take a look at that and see on both items that were brought up tonight in public comments. So at this time, we'll move into new business. We only have one thing. It's Resolution R-20-36, a work authorization agreement with Algier Martin and Associates Incorporated for construction engineering and inspection services for the water and wastewater plants supervisory control data acquisition. It's called SCADA System Project. Director of Public Work, Chuck Shively.
Mayor and Commissioners, this proposed resolution is to approve a work authorization agreement with Alger Martin to perform the necessary construction, engineering, and inspection phase services of the proposed SCADA system at the water and wastewater treatment plant. Under the proposed work authorization agreement, payment for the work would be based on the actual hours worked on the project times Alger Martin's current hourly rates, not to exceed $22,500 for the water utility and $22,500 for the wastewater utility, or a total not to exceed fee of $45,000. In the design and bidding services for this same project, Alger Martin completed it, or there may be another invoice out there, but they're approximately $10,000 under their maximum budget on that one. So anyway, I recommend approval of the proposed resolution authorizing the work authorization agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Question or comments?
So Chuck, can you give us an idea of what the construction is on that?
For the SCADA,
Yeah.
it's pretty complex. They have to put little programmable logic controllers in different locations, and then it's all linked together, and the operator, whether he's at the plant or at another location at the time, will get alarms, or he can check on the status of anything from valves to feed equipment to whatever.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
It kind of brings up a good point, kind of a rabbit trail off. We've had numerous meetings about this over the past couple of years, but, you know, we may want to, I don't know how much Commissioner Maxson, Commissioner York, how much they know about, you know, what we previously tried to do and then backed out, and then so we may want to make sure they're,
Up to speed.
yeah.
I know we visited, when I was on the commission back in '03, I think we started talking
Yeah,
about
it's
this.
something the city's
It's
looking
yeah.
on, but this time we're moving forward.
Yeah.
It's been around a while.
We got the water and wastewater loans approved, although we're still going through the paperwork. They always have another form that you still need to fill out.
Mhm.
But we're about there. We should be, I hope we're advertising for bids within the next month for that and the AMI, the automated meter.
Yeah,
That'll be good.
good. Anything else? All right, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution R-20-36 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve Resolution R-20-36 as presented. Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Maxson.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
City Manager's report.
Mayor, Commissioners, I think everyone's heard about the governor's statement today. We will be having a meeting tomorrow morning. Of course, we wait to hear from county, but I do think that this will allow us to move forward on certain items. And of course, we plan on reopening. It'll look a little different, but as soon as possible. And, that could be as early as Monday, just to line things up. We've already have a plan to accommodate court and still remain open. So that's something that we've worked on, that we know court, after discussions with court, that they'll still want that. And so we've got everything worked out. It's just this put it forward a little faster and get back to business. Like I say, it'll look a little different, how we handle things. Most of our office, we do have where we can buzz in and let them come into the door, and that way we can control. So it'll be the little things like that, and we'll see, the commission can meet like this as we go through, because is reconvening June 3rd, the state legislature, so there's a lot of time between now and then. But we'll keep, our focus is to be open. The other thing, I'd like to thank staff for they're working forward and doing a lot of things. So far, we've been lucky this week. Haven't got a lot of rain. We've had some, but our river is relatively low, about 7 or 8 feet, which is great. And the reservoirs are only 15% capacity, roughly. So a lot different than this time last year.
Yep.
So we're talking to and letting the Corps of Engineers and emergency management and then know that if you send water our way, there's certain things that we have to do at certain limits. We don't mind backing them off, but it is one of those that we always want the public to know we're prepared. So I want to thank staff for all their work and moving the city forward, and we plan to get a lot more done.
Good. This time we'll take comments from commissioners and staff. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. So I sent Mark an email earlier today in regards to our favorite pet project on 11th Street. And the reason I did so is in watching the days that they have been able to work this past week or so, you see maybe 3 people at the most out there working, right? So
Yep.
when you start calculating, so Mark sent back some information as far as days left for their construction phase and that kind of stuff. So they have, I just got to look at that, but 12 days, is that correct?
It has 12 days,
Yeah.
12 days left, which is 96 hours.
Right.
It is from and I want to apologize, I have the email, I couldn't contact anybody yesterday because of the holiday.
Right.
This is supposed to be to us on Monday.
Yep.
Yes.
It is one of those, started this morning early, I brought that email along, and then finally at 4:22, we've got a response. It is, I would, if the commission, the contractor is busy, but would probably ask that Mr. Owings come to our next meeting, kind of give us
Yes,
an update and if that's okay.
that's
Absolutely.
perfectly fine.
And it is preliminary. What I could find out also is, yes, it's based on an 8-hour working day. It is one of those, they can work longer, but it is, and they're only charged 1 day.
Yeah,
Here was my concern with
Yeah.
this, right? So if you're only putting 3 men on the job or 3 people on the job, so that's 24 hours of labor, there's no way they're going to complete that project in 12 working days with just
Yes.
that amount of labor being used to finish that project. He needs 100 guys out there, right?
Yes.
In order to achieve that deadline. And I just don't see any sense of urgency out of them or any sense of, we want to try and meet this deadline. So that's my concern with it.
The 12 days, it does go, unless
Right.
something happens. We've even heard contractors, asking because of COVID-19. It is one of those that KDOT, that will be reviewed for KDOT, but if all goes, at the end of the 12th day, they are paid a per-day penalty.
Right.
It is one of those, if it's for construction, that's what it's based on. They do have the cleanup, and to our understanding is, they are possibly looking at doing the grinding during this on the south side, during this sunny, warm phase. So that will go into their cleanup side. But we will, I'll have David Owings come and give us kind of an update and answer more questions. This is the inspector. He is paid for through the project, and, should be any questions that you would like to ask him, he should be able to answer them. And again, would like to apologize. I said in accordance with my update and wasn't thinking. So yesterday was, looking for it, and of course knew it was a holiday, so then I started, there was nobody at KDOT and there's nobody else. So it started this morning. He did finally, it goes to KDOT, and then it's supposed to be sent to us, and that should be on Mondays.
Yeah.
Each week.
Oh,
So I would like to see out of that from Mr. Owings is simply a plan on how they're going to finish this project. So, and what their timelines are on it, how many labor hours they speculate it's going to take to finish, and they need to match that to however many people it takes to get it done.
Yes.
For that to be accurate, so.
The ultimate is like I say, after the 12 days expire, they're
I understand, but we got businesses
May 29th.
along there that are just taking a
I
seat
stand
and
corrected, by the way.
yeah.
May 29th is 1 year
Yeah.
Yes.
that they've had 11th
Yeah.
Street blocked off for a 3-month project,
Yes.
Yeah, for 2 blocks, right?
for 2 blocks.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
what I said in our Skype meeting that
Yeah.
day, I'm not joking. I think they're gonna finish the overpass on 166, 160
I
junction
agree.
before they
Yeah.
finish 11th Street.
There is.
I mean, they are almost done. They're striping it already.
I think there'll
So-
always be from now on.
And they started the same date.
discussions Of calendar
I know.
and
Yeah.
working days.
Working
days.
I think that'll be
Yeah,
a discussion.
because I noticed they were there every day last week except Friday. But on the diary,
Yeah.
we get sent today. See, that Monday they were there doesn't get counted because they were working with the precipitation problems.
Yeah.
Because I know the moisture on the compaction and so forth, they have to watch it, but yet,
yeah, but I
It's
mean,
frustrating.
just to have 2 people out there
Yeah.
doing that, right? And just from a perception standpoint,
Oh,
it's
it's-
horrible. And, yeah.
And
I-
again,
yeah.
I think as we all have said,
I think
state
we're all
really, does the
frustrated.
state want their job, their name on this project?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
So one quick clarification on what you
Yeah.
said. Initially, when they did the south side, and it felt like you were driving across the back 80, and they said that they were waiting to grind it until they got the north side done.
they're
So
gonna,
that it was even. Now you're saying they're gonna take their cleanup days
Well,
prior to finishing?
that's part of the cleanup process. But the
Right.
way we understand is that they're going to, which there's a long way, is they're gonna try to do some grinding next week. Now, I don't know if it's because of pouring or this stuff, but that's what we'd heard, that there's a possibility of grinding, so
Yeah. And they get 30 days for cleanup, correct?
there's 30 days
Yes.
for cleanup, but they gotta first get it done.
Yeah.
And that's,
So they're gonna, obviously the north side isn't done. Then they're gonna close off the south side to grind?
I'm not sure in the process, the way I understand, doesn't take long. but
Okay.
they.
So just route traffic through it somehow, I'm
I'm-
assuming?
That's,
They're gonna probably
this
have to
was
do
just
that.
something of a possibility.
Yeah, I know the grinding
Yeah.
portion doesn't take
And that's
very long.
probably a
We've seen
question
it.
for him. I wanted to make sure I heard you
Yeah.
correctly.
Yep.
So
Well,
I was
the only issue with that is the semi-traffic and trying to reroute them through
Yeah.
city
Right.
streets to get around
Yep.
that is a nightmare, and
Yep.
it ends up causing more damage.
And maybe they can flag it, have flaggers on each side
Yeah.
to get through there.
Well,
just
that,
as if
those
it's
milling machines take up more
They
than
do
one
take up
lane
a lot of
generally,
room,
so,
I agree.
yeah.
big
And
thing.
if they get
Yep.
flaggers, that means they have to have more than 2 people out there.
Yeah.
3.
Good point. But we will, we'll get
Thank you,
David
Mark.
to come next
Thank
week
you. Yep.
meeting.
Any other questions or comments?
I wanted to reach out, I'm sorry, Emery, I wanted to reach out real quick and just say thank you to Chris Felix for the cruise night. He was a big help, and to Carrie, Emery's daughter, who helped organize that as well. And it was a great night, great event,
Yeah,
and
it was.
very well received, so.
Yes, it was very good.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. And. can I
Go
go
ahead.
next?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. I just have a question. 900 block of West Second, that house that burnt down on Saturday, March 21st. Is that
Is that-
anywhere?
That's the same one I sent you
Yeah.
a
That's
picture
the
of, yeah,
one?
yeah.
It is one
Because
of
it looks
those.
bad.
And I will double check with Thomas. I know we've sent the owner notice to removing this, but I think we'll have to just go forward and,
It's pretty unsafe, actually. I
It's
mean, there's a lot of
unsafe
rubbish.
condition.
I mean,
Yeah.
there,
Yep.
it's
okay.
got caution tape around it, but
Yeah.
that is probably all on the ground right now instead of up where it needs to be. But
Well,
and it does make the neighborhood look bad.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And along those same lines, we need to finish up on 8th Street too. Those houses that we bulldozed down still don't have the backfill dirt in them. I mean, they got a couple piles in one of them, but
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
big sinkhole in the middle of both of them still. So, I
little
mean,
muddy.
G&G shouldn't have left it like that.
those are the ones currently,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
On East 8th, on the other side of the tracks,
okay?
if you drive
And
by, those are the ones we tore down.
recently-
Mhm,
Recently
here in the
they
last
did.
month, maybe.
Yeah. I'd say
Wouldn't you say?
March, April.
It was out of that tin, that
Yeah.
bunch of tin that was done.
Yeah.
In their defense, it is a little marshy out there
It
right at
is.
the moment. but
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'll
but
check on
maybe
the,
put some tape around it just for.
Okay. And then I just
So we're
want
not
to thank our public service department for the mowing and the weed eating and trying weather times before Memorial Day weekend. It looked very good, and they were out there a lot, I know, and it's a lot to do, but we have to do it, and they did a very good job.
Yep, I agree. Did look good. Anything else? All right, so at this time, we'll move to executive session pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1 to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel. Executive session to include city manager. So,
Is that your?
yeah,
Is that you can make a
Okay.
motion?
yeah, making a motion.
Okay, I'll second.
And what time do you want on that?
How long? 20 minutes?
Yeah, that should be
20
fine.
minutes, we'll
20
reconvene at
minutes.
7:25.
7:25. Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster, to recess to executive session pursuant KSA 75-4319B1 to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel to include the city manager and to reconvene in the commission room at 7:25. Commissioner Van Oster,
Aye.
Mayor Bauer,
Aye.
Commissioner Maxon,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Okay, so we'll reconvene from executive session pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1 to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel. There's no action taken, so I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Bauer, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
That's a lot easier to Zoom.